Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Sir Christopher, and thank you for tuning in to Origin of the Frequency. Alright, y'all, so today I got a pretty fast one, and I know what you're thinking, like, you saw the video of this, you saw the title of this video, and you're like, you know what, like, what's up with that? So, I'm about to tell y'all about the time that I saw a fairy when I was little. Now, here's the thing. I didn't see it to the point where it was like, you know, I saw the fairy just like flying around and like all this stuff. But yeah, so this was back when I was probably, I'd say, about 5 years old. I would say probably about around 4 or 5. I had to be either 4 or 5, closer to 6, depending on the time frame around that time. So this was before I didn't know like that the tooth fairy was real and like all this. And I remember like my mama and my grandma saying like, you know, they were gonna put some money. I think it was under my sister's pillow. Yeah, it was under my sister's pillow, not mine. So I was kind of just sitting up, like waiting around, like for like the tooth fairy to pop up. So here's the thing, though, y'all. So I'm sitting there, like just kind of on the lookout of like waiting for it to like come. And here's the thing: I didn't know at the time that it was fake. So I'm waiting, and I remember just kind of looking around the living room. So let me go ahead and like put y'all in the scene and like explain like how everything was. So my sister who lost the teeth, she would sleep on the floor. Like we were all in the living room. I think it was summertime or something like that. So my sister, she was sleeping on the floor, and we all in the living room and stuff like that. You know, we kind of like all passed out at different places throughout the living room. It was nighttime. And yeah, so we had like a big living room, and then like to the right side of the living room is the door, and you would come in the door and then immediately it would be the living room. So let me kind of explain to y'all how I saw it. So I remember like kind of like being on the watch, like being like watchful and like all of that type of stuff. And I just remember seeing like kind of like out the corner of my eye, and like this is how I know like it wasn't like me just kind of like making some stuff up, because when I looked over to the light, it was like it didn't immediately just like go away. It was like I still saw like a little bit amount of lights. And the thing is, like, in that time, I don't know if it was because like I thought the tooth fairy was so real at that point, which then caused me to be able to see it because of how strongly I felt about it and all of that, right? So I look out the corner and I see like this light, and then it's just like shimmering and like it had like just disappeared. So I was like, oh shit. And then like and then I believe I had fell asleep like after that, and then the next day I woke up and my sister had like the money up under her pillow or whatever. I think like my mom and them came in there like when they were asleep, when we were asleep or whatever, and just like put the money under her pillow or whatever. But I still remember that to this day, and I always would think like, was I tripping? Because I never told nobody about that, even when I was, younger or whatever. I was like, maybe I just saw the light coming from the porch, but it was like, no, because I remember seeing like individual lights. So like if I had to say like the colors, like what the colors were, I would say it was kind of like a blue, I would say kind of like a blue, like a yellowish white type. I wouldn't necessarily say orbs, I'm trying to see like how I can explain like the energy like that was around it. And then the thing was, this is how like I knew like it was a fairy as well, because it was like the space that it was in. So I would say like the space that it was taking up was probably, I would say about like this. I would say probably about this. And then like all of like the lights and stuff were around it. But when I looked at it, I was able to see it kind of like disappear. So yeah, I would say the colors are probably about like a blue, like a mixture between yellow and white, kind of like how Tinkerbell is, like how she had like the yellow and white around her. But no, I saw more colors. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I saw like a red as well, because I'm thinking back on this. Yeah, man, so that's basically it. About the time that, you know, I saw a fairy out the corner of my eye and was able to look over and then kind of catch it disappearing, kind of like out of well, I wouldn't necessarily say out of existence, because I do believe that they exist. I guess like my vibration wasn't matching up to that frequency at that point, so which then caused me not to be able to see it anymore. Yeah, man, the shit was crazy. The shit was honestly crazy. I thought I was tripping, but then now I go back and kind of revisit that memory over again and am able to kind of look at it. And also at the time, I was younger too. So I feel like I was more tapped into that type of energy. But I still catch shit out the corner of my eye all the time. For example, one night I was walking my street for exercise. So, but this was when the time was, I guess you could say, fell back or whatever. So it was getting dark around 5. So I would get off work and I would go walking down this long street. And at the corner of my eye, I saw so this man, he has like this statue in his yard, and I believe it's like of a tiki man. I'm a go and get a picture of it before I upload this video so I can show y'all like what I'm talking about. So out the corner of my eye, I saw like a full, it was like a full angel type being. It was like, I would say it's like a grayish whitish color, kind of looked like stone. Yeah, it did look like stone. So it was like it was in a stone form, and I specifically saw it being an angel. So it had like wings on its back, but the thing is, it was all that color. So it wasn't like okay, I don't know if y'all ever seen like gargoyle, like how the gargoyles, like how the color that they were, that's how it was. And he had like his fist like on the ground, like kind of like crouching down, like he had just landed. And I could clearly tell like it was a male as well. So I be thinking about shit like that, and I'm like, damn, okay, what if I did tap into that side? Because I know it's not me just thinking about it, because if I saw it out of my peripheral, like I'm like, it's too much detail in it for me to just be like, oh yeah, it's my peripheral or whatever. Because the stone that it was didn't look anything like what I saw. Like, yes, it was, I guess you could say it was a stone in that sense, meaning like the decoration that it actually is. But what I saw at the corner of my eye was not that decoration, and it had too many details for it to be that decoration, and like how I saw it and like all that stuff. Hey, this is my experience. You know, y'all can choose to believe me or not. Hey, I know what I saw at the end of the day. If this resonates with you, cool. If it doesn't, you know, you can throw it away, keep going. But yeah, man, thank y'all for tuning into another episode of Origin of the Frequency. I hope y'all have a great day. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.